Good afternoon, everyone. How are you guys doing today? Good. I'm doing well, thank you. I should be able to present this. It's my first time presenting in front of a big crowd.
Oh.
If I could jump off, I was skydiving recently, so if I could do that, I could do this. Alright, awesome. So today we're just gonna be presenting about mental fitness, and then we're just gonna be going to like how like strategies, going to like the science behind it and everything like that. So my name is Teresa. I'm a senior at GCU. I'm majoring in sports performance psychology, and I'm also an assistant and mental performance coach at our rugby's college, basically our rugby's team at GCU. And I'm also one of the founders of our sports psychology club on campus as well.
Dr. Justin Wright, I am a chiropractor. The group that we're kind of a part of, we kind of do comprehensive health and strategies that encompass a whole bunch of different things. So I'm not usually the one talking a lot on the mental health side of stuff, but we're going to get through it today. I've been in practice for 20 some years, little over 20 years, health, wellness, all the stuff. I've been around the block, I've seen lots of stuff. A little bit of personal history with me. I do have 5 kids. They are for sale. My oldest two, we did adopt out of foster care. So that ended up with a lot of mental health, a lot of eye-opening stuff. Go ahead.
How old were they when you adopted them?
9 and 11. That's when we got it. We adopted. It took a few years, especially being older.
It's horrible.
Yeah, all the worst stuff.
Really deeply needs to be revised.
Oh, I give a whole talk just on that. So in going through that process, saw a lot of how mental health is handled mostly wrongly. And just that kind of whole process, I've been through the ringer. They are currently 21 and 23. So I've seen a lot of stuff. So I am at least hopefully be able to kind of relate to a handful of things as we're kind of going through stuff. So that's a little bit of my history when it comes to that side of stuff.
Awesome. So I'm gonna be more going over the mental fitness aspect of it, so like psychology and everything like that. And it's gonna bring like a different perspective of this. So if you guys have any questions along the way or have any like comments, feel free to let us know. So awesome. So we're gonna get started with just an overview of the importance of mental fitness. Like physical fitness, we also have to keep in mind and also talk more about mental fitness. Like the way we take care of ourselves in the physical aspect, we could also do it in the mental aspect. So mental fitness isn't just about dealing with challenges, it's about consistent growth. Like physical, mental, there's also mental growth as well. It directly impacts our relationships, our work performance, our personal lives, and overall our quality of life. And through this presentation, we're just going to unravel the layers of mental fitness and the components, and then we're going to be learning strategies of how to like better your overall quality of life as a parent, student, athlete, overall. So, where should we get started? Okay, mental fitness refers to the state of well-being in which an individual can cope with everyday stresses of life, work, and contribute meaningfully to the community. Resilience, on the other hand, is the ability to bounce back from adversity, trauma, or stress, and being able to adapt to challenges, like I am currently at the moment. Our brains and body are connected as one, and especially when it comes to stress, like performance anxiety. It comes along with physical and mental factors as well as symptoms. Resilience, okay, let's see. So for example, we encounter stressors that signals our brain and releases stress hormones, preparing our body for fight or flight. Understanding this connection is vital because it illustrates how mental states directly influence physical well-being, highlighting the importance of stress and overall health in the workplace and in life. Mental fitness is not a luxury but a necessity. It signifies impacts of our overall well-being, affecting our emotional, psychological, and even physical health. In the workplace, mentally fit individuals are more productive, creative, and resilient. They can handle challenges effectively, fostering a positive work environment, enhancing the team's dynamics. Now, habits. Habits is something we don't build over time. In one day, basically. We build it over time, and it does take consistent work. Like, say you go to the gym, it becomes a consistent routine. At first, it gets like, you don't want to wake up, but then, like, you know you have to do it, and then at some point, it will become part of your everyday routine. Like, you have to do it, or else your day you won't feel right throughout the day. Okay, so by understanding how our habits are formed, they could influence our mental states. We can actively cultivate positive habits that promote mental fitness and resilience. This awareness empowers us to break free from negative cycles and establish healthier thought patterns and behaviors. So now I'm gonna go over more of the neuroscience aspect of it. So our brains have an incredible ability to change and adapt, known as neuroplasticity. This means that we can form new habits and pathways in our brains throughout our lives. Understanding the neuroscience behind this, especially with habits, because it helps us comprehend our brains and fix our entities. They can also be molded by creating positive mental health habits. We can rewire our brain for resilience and mental fitness. Stress is a natural response, but chronic stress can be detrimental effects on mental health. If triggering the release of cortisol, which over time can impair cognitive function and mental well-being. By understanding the stress responses, we can learn to manage it effectively. Techniques such as mindfulness, breathing exercise, and relaxation strategies, and I'll be going more in depth into it when I'm talking about developing the mental fitness aspect of it. So to start off, positive psychology focuses on the strengths, the virtues, and the factors that contribute to a fulfilling life. It emphasizes positive emotions, resilience, and personal strength as well. By being able to incorporate positive psychology into our principles in our lives, we can cultivate optimism, gratitude, and positive mindset. So it's a lot of us struggle with, and it's hard to overcome. These factors not only enhance mental fitness, but also can detrimentally affect our ability to bounce back from challenges and foster resilience. Mental fitness enhancing self-awareness, enabling us to recognize our emotions, thoughts, and habits. It also goes into accountability. With this, self-awareness is the cornerstone of mental intelligence and lead to accountability. Which improve self-awareness, we can regulate our emotions and responses effectively. This self-regulation is crucial in maintaining composure under pressure, making sound decisions, and nurturing healthy relationships throughout our lifetimes. So now I'm going to be going over the developing mental fitness. So this part, I'm also actually going to be going through the strategies of how we could build up mental fitness in our lives. So the first technique I have is stress management. So this includes breathing exercises, mindfulness, and relaxation strategies that could effectively manage our stress. So for example, something that Neil, which is the founder of AMPT, he's also my professor, so he had recommended gratitude post. So a gratitude post is just writing something you're grateful for that day. And it helps you, like, for example, you're having a bad day, you write a gratitude post that morning, and at least you could say you did something good or positive that day to make up for the overall bad day of your day. Then deep breathing techniques such as diaphragmatic breathing calms the nervous system, while mindfulness practices cultivate present moment awareness, reducing anxiety. Then we have
You guys
relaxation.
familiar with diaphragmatic breathing?
No.
I went to college for a long time. It just means deep breathing with your belly. Your diaphragm is the part on the bottom of your ribs that allows you to breathe. So like that shallow breathing, it actually lowers oxygen in your body. And when you have lower oxygen, you're more stressed and you can't handle extra stress on top of it. It does a whole bunch of terrible, horrible things as far as stress-wise in your body. So one way that you can do diaphragmatic breathing, we'll do it a little bit quick here. So everyone sit up nice and tall, because every single one of you has bad posture. So you're gonna tilt your head back, put your fingertips on your forehead. You don't have to press, but what that's doing is that's actually putting your chest in a good position to be opened up. You're gonna take a huge deep breath in through your nose to the point where you hopefully get a little bit of burning in the bottom of your rib cage, and then out through your mouth. That actually, you can do that a handful of times. It does work better if you're standing, but you might get lightheaded, so don't start that way. But what that does is that will actually de-stress your body. It'll actually wake you up. So if you're feeling kind of tired, we've all been on the computer for a while, and you do a deep breathing exercise like that, it'll actually energize you a little bit. So it's something that honestly everyone should do a handful of times a day. And that burning that you're feeling when you do that exercise is the part of your lung that's supposed to be working all the time that we're compressing because we sit like this all day.
Feel the burn.
Hey, it's job security for me. Go to that.
I've played music for like 10 years, so I have a very strong control of my diaphragm now.
Mhm.
And I can't breathe with my chest anymore.
Yeah.
I just gotten so used to breathing with my
Yeah, you're good at it.
portion.
What kind of music?
Everything. A lot of orchestra, wind music, a lot of bass guitar, penny whistle, tuba, trombone, saxophone.
Everything.
There's-
The
list goes
worst
on.
neck I ever worked on. Couldn't figure out what was wrong with this kid. He was like 22. And eventually he showed me a video of his weekend activities, and he was in a death metal band. I'm like, dude, stop headbanging. That's why I asked. I was like, oh. Anyway.
Thank you. So now I'm gonna be going more of the resilience part now. So this focuses on goal setting, positive affirmations, and visual techniques. So these techniques help equip individuals with tools to navigate challenges. Goal setting, for example, provides a clear sense of purpose and direction, fostering resilience in the set of setbacks. So for goal settings, there's 3 types of goal settings. We have outcome goals, performance goals, and process goals. Overall, we tend to focus more on the outcome goals, so what we want to happen. For example, let's just say your kid is on a sports team and the team's goal is to win a championship. They don't realize that there's other goals, smaller goals that go towards that big goal of winning the championship, because other teams also want to win that championship. So for that, we'll need our process goals. So those goals, right, will help the individual focus on the process of achieving the smaller goals to achieve that. So first, like for example, making the team. Then from there, they could make another goal of like learning their plays and how to like outsmart their opponent or just strategize to win their first game. Then like that, they're able to like effectively, successfully achieve that goal as a team. Then like that, they're able to like build up and possibly even get to the playoffs, championships, and all that stuff. Then we have our performance goals, and those are measured because it's measured because it's a standard that can progressively be measured towards the outcome goal. For example, a power lifter wants to increase their squat weight by 5 pounds. This goal could be measured progressively over time, leading to the outcome goal of them squatting 5 pounds heavier than before. So now I'm going to be going over the positive affirmations. And the positive affirmation just cultivate a positive mindset, promoting a self-belief and confidence. And through visualization techniques, when practiced, vividly enhance mental rehearsal, and enabling individuals to visualize successful outcomes and building resilience against adversity. So for example, like an Olympic swimmer, they have to wait for their meet. So they just have to visualize themselves stroking and their breath work as well. And if they replay that, them just beating their opponents, that will just be stuck in their head. So then once it is time for them and they hear the fire, they'll be like more likely to win that meet because they imagine themselves doing that over and over again, over 100 times. The next technique is effective communication, which is required everywhere we go, in the workplace, relationships. and just overall, is a cornerstone of, especially for mental fitness. Empathy, for example, is the ability to understand and share others' feelings, nurtures genuine connections, and fosters emotional intelligence. Active listening, characterized by focused attention and understanding, strengthens relationships and promotes mutual respect. And effective expression of thoughts and emotions ensures clear communication, reducing misunderstandings and conflicts in the workplace, thereby enhancing mental well-being. Now, focus techniques also are very essential for mental fitness. Mindful concentration involves fully engaging in the present task, improving productivity and focus, and just another technique as well for eliminating distractions, both external and internal. No? Alright.
Good.
Awesome. So our brains are inherently wired to create habits as a survival mechanism. Throughout human evolution, habits have played a crucial role in conserving mental energy and ensuring our survival. When actions are repeated, the brain automates them into habits, allowing us to focus on their tasks and challenges. This survival mechanism can lead to both productive and unproductive habits. Recognizing this natural inclination allows us to harness the brain's adaptive power consciously. Our brains are wired with instinctive responses, especially in stressful situations. These instincts often lead to impulsive reactions. Mental fitness involves training the brain to respond consciously rather than impulsively. By practicing effective mental habits, such as staying calm under pressure or refraining from negative situations, we could override instinctive responses and make more rational and beneficial choices even in stressful situations. And as a refresher, empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another, and is a cornerstone of effective mental fitness training and coaching. It does foster a safe and supportive environment where individuals can openly discuss their challenges and emotions. In the context of mental fitness, empathy builds trust and rapport between trainers and participants. It allows trainers to genuinely connect with the trainees' experiences, providing personalized guidance that resonates on a deep emotional level. Then accountability transforms and attaches into actions. It sets clear, achievable goals in the first step, and it provides a roadmap for progress. Tracking progress against these goals ensures individuals remain focused and motivated throughout their journey. Adjusting strategies based on progress and setbacks is equally as vital, and a flexible approach guided by accountability allows individuals to adapt, learn from challenges, and refine their mental fitness routines. This process ensures continuous improvement and sustainable growth. At AMT, which stands for Arizona Mental Performance Training, our approach to mental fitness is deeply rooted through empathy and accountability. We believe that fostering empathy in coaching relationships creates a foundation of trust and understanding. Our coaches and leaders not only emphasize with the challenges faced by those individuals, but also hold them accountable of their growth and their goals set for themselves. This delicate balance between empathy and accountability forms the bedrock or foundation of our coaching philosophy, ensuring holistic support for mental well-being.
Good?
I'm awesome.
You guys know what, like, the two most stressful things you can do?
Public speaking.
I don't remember the exact order, but number 1 and number 2 are public speaking and death. So, good job, because thank you. I haven't been your age for a long time. So I'm going to kind of go through, in general, when we're talking about mental fitness and resilience, you have to prepare yourself before you need it. Okay? If you're going to play a sport, you have to practice before you go into the game and try and hit the game-winning shot. Right? One of the things that, again, I'm old, so Michael Jordan, one of the things that set him apart back in the day is he was one of the very few athletes, when he would get together with Phil Jackson, they would actually visualize the game. They would visualize themselves winning, and that can do amazing, amazing things for then when in the heat of the moment when you got to do it. Okay? That's what mental resilience is you have to prepare yourself first. So there's kind of the old argument, you've heard like the seed versus the soil. Like if you're gonna try and plant something, it doesn't matter how good the seed is if the soil sucks. Okay? Your preparing the soil is before you need it. Okay? That's the stuff that we're talking about when we're trying to prepare things. Now, to put stuff into context, human beings have been around for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. If you were to put all of human history in a book, it would be, let's say, 1,000 pages. The last 200 years is the last page.
Wow.
We are living in a world that we were in no way designed and built for. Right? We're cavemen transplanted through time. We're supposed to be hunting deer, picking berries, like computers, cars, drugs, sugar. Our body's like, what the hell is that? And it freaks out, and the deck is stacked against us. Okay? So we're gonna kind of run through some stuff. When we're setting up, again, kind of what that looks like. The world that we are built for, you've heard of the fight or flight system. You guys remember like grade school biology stuff? When you encounter stress, fight or flight kicks in. Okay? That means when you're in a stressed environment, your body acts like it's being chased by a tiger. So it's going to go through a whole bunch of steps and process because it's trying to survive. This system is designed to be used very sparingly for short periods of time. Now, what I would say, and I'm sure you're all going to nod your heads, is we're all living our lives like we're chased by a tiger all day, every day.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's a mess. So, what does that fight or flight system do to try and escape from the tiger? First off, if you forget to check the bush that you heard a rustling and a tiger jumps out, your body is going to imprint that into your brain, and if you live through it, you are never going to forget to check that bush ever again. Now, I don't even really want to know all the horrible things that have potentially you guys have powered your way through and survived. I guarantee you all have triggers that other people would think would be weird. That's normal. Now, we're running through those processes, trying to kind of expose yourself to it so you can be better at it. You got to do that, and that's individual. So the example I had, we had our girls that we had adopted, and we were doing dishes. I think we had them a couple of months, and one of them was cleaning dishes, dropped it, and it broke. We were just like, oh, that's so annoying. They cowered, right? They came from a horrible situation. And I could just tell that would have been, you all know, right? It would have just been god awful. And for us to just be like, yeah, slip it up. They couldn't wrap their heads around it. And that kind of messed them up for a few days, and we didn't even get mad. That is how you have to be prepared to handle that stress before it happens. That's what mental resilience is. So that fight or flight system, what does it do? It's going to heighten your senses, right? So you're going to be kind of hypersensitive. Your eyes are going to dilate. You're going to be ready to see to any tiny little motion going on in there. It's going to depress your frontal cortex. Okay? It's going to depress thinking because you don't need to remember your phone number if you're trying to escape from the tiger. Okay? Now, what does that sound like if your senses are crazy and you're not thinking? What does that sound like if that's long term? ADD, ADHD? Happens a little bit right now. Okay? That is a chronic stressed environment. We've got to learn to kind of depress that. The other thing it's going to do is going to take all your blood and it's going to take it out of your guts. You don't need to digest lunch. You got to survive the tiger. It's going to put it all in your muscles because you might have to be sprinting here quick. Okay? Whole host of issues. Like my whole life is fixing musculoskeletal problems. Aches, pains, that's chronic. Your muscles are firing, they're cramping, they're tense, they're tight. And guess what? You can't digest any food. You feel like crap. Your guts aren't working right. A lot of like IBS, irritable bowel. That's all chronic stress. And if you know anyone that has it, they'll already tell you, when I'm stressed, it's bad. Huh? Problem is, when they think they're not stressed, they're like 80% stressed. That's the problem. We have to learn some techniques to try and lower that system. The other thing it's going to do is going to increase your blood pressure. How many people here know somebody on blood pressure medication? Freaking everybody. Not supposed to be that way. It's all chronic stress, and we're doing it to ourselves because most of it is occupying the 6 inches between our ears. It's the world we're living in. We're the ones messing everything up. The body is doing it perfect. It's going to increase cortisol. Have you heard of the stress hormone cortisol? That's the thing that stimulates a lot of this whole thing. A lot of these like anti-aging clinics and all that kind of stuff, they're all messing with cortisol. It's just stress. Okay? There's cheaper and easier ways to try and kind of manage that stuff, but that's the context where we're starting from. So how do we fight that system that our body's doing perfectly fine? And by the way, stress is good for you, just not all the time. If you go work out, that's stressful. You're putting strain on your muscle, your body will get stronger, and you're stronger the next time to handle it. That's good stress. Stress isn't the enemy, it's constant stress. So, eat well, move well, think well. We're obviously going to hit think well a little bit harder, but you got to do all three. They're equally important. Okay? If you're eating like garbage and then go try and do an athletic activity, is that going to go well? No. So, when we're trying to eat well, a couple quick tips and tricks. When it comes to liquids, there is water and there's not water. That's the list. Now you can go all kinds of crazy, and I can give a whole hour talk just on food, but try and start with that. Try and have just a good source of water. Really, like sodas, there's no redeeming value. Right? Because your body, when it gets sugar, it instantly craves more, because caveman couldn't find sugar very often. So when he did, he gorged himself. Sugar is harder to kick for a lot of people than cocaine. It is brutal because your DNA is literally programmed to want it. Right? I fight it. Like it's everybody, right? And so the other thing that you can do, have some sort of raw fiber before any meal. So eat whatever garbage you're already going to eat, but try and have a salad, a piece of fruit, something like that, raw fiber. It's going to give you enzymes that'll help you break down the food. It's actually going to fill you up a little bit, so you're not going to potentially eat as much, but just have raw fiber. It's always easier to add than take away, right? So have some raw fiber before you eat any meal. Try and get a decent source of water as much as you can.
Is like fiber drink, fiber powder considered raw fiber, or does it need to be from the
No, I want actual food.
the actual
Yeah.
food stuff?
Those aren't, it's not bad because it'll help kind of clean you out and all that kind of
But
stuff,
it's not-
but not in substitute of raw fiber. You gotta have some, because you can't get the enzymes.
Gotcha.
The way health and medicine is just a train wreck. So what they do is they'll take like wheat, which is reasonably okay for you. They'll take everything out and then they'll add like 13 vitamins back in and go, it's enriched. Well, you took 57 out.
Something I've started doing recently, after talking to some dietitians for myself, is I take a bowl and I put a can of garbanzo beans or chickpeas in, and I add either some sort of carrots or peas or green beans or corn, whatever I want into
Okay.
it. Mix it all together with like a little bit of something. I usually use like a light olive oil mayonnaise just to kind of put it all together with some seasoning, and it's a great,
Yeah,
super healthy.
it's all good stuff. Like I said, don't overthink it. You guys already know 90% of the answers. We all know broccoli's not gonna kill us.
Yeah.
Right? And we know whatever came in that package that's super processed will. That's 90% of the battle, right? You already know the answers. Basically, the closer you can get to eating something in the setting God originally intended, the better off you are. An apple is better than applesauce, is better than apple juice, is better than apple drink, whatever, right? And so just try and get further on that spectrum as best you can. You can get lost in organic, not organic. Just eat the damn apple, right? Like you'll be fine. Like don't overthink it, okay? Move well. You have to move, right? You have to lift heavy things. Cavemen didn't have a choice. Caveman couldn't lift 30, 40, 50 pounds. They just died, right? The biggest indicator that you're gonna die within a handful of years is if you can't walk around with 50 pounds. You guys remember there was a Christmas commercial, the old man was doing like kettlebell workouts in front of like I think he was just doing them and everyone's kind of laughing at him in the neighborhood, and then he goes and he picks up his granddaughter to put the star on the tree. That's how it kind of finished, right? That's all the training you need. Just lift stuff. If you work out 4 to 6 hours every week, that has been shown to be 50% more effective than any pharmaceutical or talk therapy. 50%. We don't have a drug that works that well on anything. It is unbelievable. You have to move. Your body is a use it or lose it machine. Period. End of story. Because again, if we look at cavemen, they didn't have a choice.
So, you said lifting stuff, heavy, but you also said just move, so walking makes it, is moving.
Yep, walking's
but it's not
perfect.
lifting things.
We'll do both.
Okay.
It's weight bearing still.
Yeah.
Is there?
You can use body weight, like this is lifting,
Okay.
but you have to lift. And a lot of times, again, I'm old. Back in the day, everything was cardio, cardio, cardio. That's actually less effective to lose weight. And it's not close. But that way of thinking still kind of sits out there. So yeah, you have to do better than that. You gotta lift things, you gotta work, you just be active. 4 to 6 hours a week is not asking a truckload.
The goal isn't always losing weight.
Mm-hmm.
The goal isn't always losing weight.
Correct.
Cardio is really good for the health of your heart.
Yeah. Different talk, but basically try and figure out, plan your life around what do I want the last 10 years to be. I want to play with my grandkids, you better be able to lift 30 to 50 pounds. And do it. Just train in that way. Do it at any age. You want to be able to stand on one leg, close your eyes. Okay? You might not be able to do it forever, but you want to keep balance. Okay? Outside of being able to be strong, if you can't keep a balance, you're going to fall and you're going to die. Fracturing a hip, I think it's something like 80% of people are dead within like 3 years. Gotta have some balance, you gotta be strong.
I noticed that I told that when I work, I usually come home and do some exercise. But when I lived up in Prescott, I did, like, I worked 2 jobs, sometimes 2 8-hour jobs.
Mhm.
Cause the second one was a part-time, but the other one was graveyards, but I tend to get up like 3 hours before my shift and then do some
3
treadmill.
hours before your shift and you had 2 jobs.
Yeah, and then I would do,
Good God, woman.
and I did, but I noticed that I was more fit for my jobs, and I did a better
Mhm.
job in both of them, because I was able to
Yeah.
handle both 8-hour jobs.
That's the seed versus
because I
soil.
was exercising
Yeah,
before
you were
and
preparing
kept-
yourself.
yeah,
It
gave
does
myself
so
that
many
exercise, yeah.
wonderful things. So that's the move well. It's like, we just gotta move. You gotta be strong, you gotta have some balance.
Is there a distinct difference between like setting aside 30 minutes a day to exercise versus just like throwing on a heavy backpack and just making a little bit more strenuous whatever you're doing throughout the day?
Not really.
So, okay, so if you can figure out a passive trick to just get your body to work a little bit harder, that's great.
I personally, having been in practice for 20 years, if I can get my patients to do goddamn anything, I'll just take it. Okay? Number 2, I like having a dedicated time for it. Because it kind of puts you in a little different mindset. Like, I have patients all the time who's like, oh, I walk 87 miles every day at work at somewhere. I'm like, it's not the same.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It really
If
isn't.
it's part of your routine. it's
Yeah,
not
like you're
part of
active,
your
but it's just not the same. So I like setting aside kind of some separate time for it in a perfect world.
Buying leg weights is not a replacement for having a daily exercise routine.
Yeah, and you can't replace like sunlight.
Yeah.
Get outside. So think well. This is probably the trickiest one. Okay, couple things. Today, the average person in one day gets more information than somebody that lived 700 years ago got in their whole lifetime.
Wow.
Think that's stressful? It is bonkers the amount of stuff that gets flooded into us, right? I'm old, I'm originally from North Dakota. Like, I know people that never left my hometown, and like, just thinking of that and how much less experience they had than what I had, just, like, I haven't done anything completely crazy, and I'm like, they seem like completely different people. Now imagine 700 years ago where you never traveled more than like a mile and a half from where you were born. Whew. It's stressful, but that's the world we're designed for. Anyone ever gone camping, been outside, don't have your electronics around? You feel different. That's how you're supposed to feel. That's supposed to be normal, right? They've actually done a lot of really, really cool studies where if you just see a sunrise or a sunset, there's a weird wavelength energy. I'm not a super hippy dippy guy. I'm more of a science guy. But they've actually shown, like, if you see a sunrise, like, your day's different,
Yes.
right? This doesn't count. Stop taking pictures of it. Okay? That is not the same. Perfect world, if you want to start your day right, and this is really damn hard, first 30 minutes, don't turn your phone on when you wake up. Huh? How many people in this room are going to do it?
That's the first thing I do.
Not very many. Social media. How many think social media is a cesspool that should burn in hell? Okay. You're wrong. Social media is a mirror. It is not the bad guy. It is holding a mirror to you. Now, it is stacked against you. It's a funhouse mirror, right? Its algorithm is designed to find crazy stuff to make you stay in there longer. So it's stacked against you, but it is not the bad guy. Okay? If you want, social media can be a weapon that works for you. If you want better mental health, I guarantee, whatever one it is, I don't care. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Search uplifting material and follow the top 5 that show up. That algorithm is designed by you. If you hop on social media and one, you have a hard time getting off, it's another form of addiction. 2, make it work for you. Find happy stuff and do that.
Does anybody think Pinterest is social media?
Yep.
Okay.
It's all of them. They're all different levels.
I've changed my mind after spending a lot of hours scrolling. It's just as bad.
There are some amazing systems in your body that do all kinds of crazy things. So you've heard of like oxytocin? It's the love hormone. That's the one when you like, give birth to a kid, it shows up and everyone's all, yay, my kid's cute. And they're not. So, I'm not lying. Okay? So, if you receive a gift or give a gift, you get flooded with oxytocin. Right? Now you can program social media to do that, or you can do it even better. 2, you actually get the exact same level of oxytocin by watching it happen. It's the same, right? Because guess what? You think it was evolutionary advantageous for cavemen to kind of like each other and to be in a group? Like, our DNA is awesome. We just use it wrong. Get on social media, find that stuff. Watch people do good deeds for each other. It's there. But you will have to work on it, and every couple weeks you'll have to do it again, because that algorithm is stacked against you. Right? It's being a little cheeky earlier. It's not totally your fault. But that's a big one. If we could just manage social media a little bit better, who here doesn't think their life would be better? Like, oh, it's so brutal. And then kids, oh.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Does checking your phone count if you just look at your calendar? Is it still
Remember
like-
water and not water? They have done, I can't remember all the statistics, but they've done studies. I want to say maybe it was like divorce rate, whatever, doesn't matter. 2 people go out to eat, and if there's a phone on the table or they're sitting here instead of engaging with each other, bad sign. Almost exact level of bad sign if that phone is face down on the table. Because you're still thinking about it, you're still glancing at it, you're waiting for it to vibrate, waiting for it to light up. It's not any different. Put the damn thing away. It almost doesn't change the statistics at all.
Can I say something? When you talk about that, prepare to be prepared type deal, one of the things that I've done, because I used to check my calendar every morning, is I write it down the night before, everything I have to do the next morning, just on a sticky pad next to my bed, because then I sleep better, I don't have to worry about it, and I know in the morning, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, 8 o'clock is by the time I have to get online, and if you wanna see my face or not, 8 o'clock.
Yep.
So-
No, that's a great one. Yep, because there's some, the studies are relatively new, but some of the blue light that we've all heard stuff, like, it's rotting your brain. It's only gonna get worse with time. The more research we do, the worse it's gonna get. being positive. Well, first let's do sleep. How much sleep are you supposed to get? 7 to 8 hours is what you should get. Now they've done a lot of really cool studies, and this system is, I think in the last 10 years they've even discovered it. You have what's called a glymphatic system in your brain. Anyone heard of it?
No.
I hadn't until like a couple months ago. So one of the things that they think happens, and it happens when you're asleep, and in order to run its full cycle, it needs 7 or 8 hours, is it cleans your brain.
Oh, that has to.
And so it's cycling through, and lack of sleep is one of the things that will really, really ramp up dementia, Alzheimer's, all that kind of stuff, because your brain isn't cleaning. That's 7 to 8 hours, that's the cleaning cycle for your brain. You have to do it, and you can't break it up either. You kind of need to do it all at once. You can't take 100 naps.
Real quick question on sleeping, dreaming. I know maybe some people know, but how is that part of the cleaning process, or is it?
No idea.
No idea.
I don't know.
Yeah, because I've oftentimes wondered, is that my
I
brain?
think
trying
it's
to
one of those
process
things where your
everything?
brain's kind of playing and doing different things, and it's probably part of the cleaning process. But
And does that count as part of the 8 hours of sleep?
I
Yeah.
don't think that REM sleep is necessary for this cleaning process, but I think REM sleep is important in other ways.
it's all part of the cycle. It goes in a cycle, and REM is part of it.
Yeah.
I used to worry a lot about my sleep because I have a really long history of insomnia.
Mhm.
I got a Fitbit, and I found that I slept better, just knowing that I could look in the morning and see how I slept, and not have to worry, did I get enough sleep, did I dream enough?
Mhm.
And once I started actually monitoring my sleep pattern, I found it was extremely consistent. And
So
now I
something
can
about the
kind of look
unknown
up
was
at it
your
and not
stress.
worry about it anymore.
Because stress is why you couldn't sleep. That's why when you can't sleep, it's
Worrying
stress.
about my sleep was disturbing my sleep. And just let go.
Trust me, when I get upstairs to the pearly gates, I got a lot of questions. Stuff doesn't make sense.
What do you mean when you say clean your brain? Like filters
It
out?
actually, there's a fluid. Your
negative
brain sits
thoughts?
in fluid, okay, and your spinal cord sits in fluid, and it circulates. So one of the things is it goes through and it cleans out some of that like amyloid and things like that, which is the plaque that leads to like Alzheimer's.
Oh, okay.
They've done some studies now because of all the concussion stuff relatively recently, I think is how they discovered it. Again, this is cutting edge enough, I don't have a ton of info on it. But by going through that and then kind of similar to like your blood or your lymph system, it then gets filtered out into your body.
Kinda like oil, it just runs better.
Yeah, it's rotoring the works, right? It goes through and just cleans out the gunk so it can work better the next day. Okay? Cortisol, or the stress hormone. Have you guys ever heard how if a bunch of women work together in close proximity, their cycles link up? It's weird, right? That's one of the questions I got. Stress does the same thing. Okay, so if you have high cortisol levels in your body, other people around you can feel it. You ever work around somebody who's like, ugh? Yeah, that's actually biologically how that happens. It works the same way that the female hormones do in kind of syncing up. And it's contagious. It really is. What that means is you have to prepare your body to be able to handle stress before it happens. Because especially if you're in any kind of leadership position, it filters down. Because when they've done the studies, the leader is the cortisol level that it matters. If one of the underlings has high cortisol and the leader doesn't, it's going to negate it. If the leader pretends everything's fine, I'm okay, good, I'm fine, no problems, and they really aren't and cortisol's high, can't fake that one. Lots of stuff you can. Your brain is kind of dumb in a lot of ways. You can trick it a lot of ways. So they've done studies where when it comes to physical fitness, they had one group that worked out, I think it was like 2 weeks, and they had like 40% increase in strength in the muscles. Another group just thought about working out, didn't do anything, 13% stronger. Your brain is awesome, but it's also kind of dumb, you can trick it.
You're right, I'm gonna think about working out more.
No cheating.
Mental.
Still not the same. So, this one I just think is funny. Social media. That is like comparing your blooper reel, so your life, to everyone else's highlight reel. They don't look like that. They're not having that much fun. Stop it. Find real people. Yeah, I think we got about 15 minutes or so kind of question stuff. That's my big thing. Again, our Arizona Mental, what is it? Mental Performance Training. So with that, again, we're trying to have different modalities, different people kind of working together. I generally handle much more of kind of the physical side of it, but we have, because it all works together. You're a whole person. You can't separate stuff. When it comes to, in my opinion, it's one of the big problems with healthcare, right? Your blood pressure's high, they're gonna give you a pill, they're gonna lower it. Are you healthier? Like, if they didn't even ask you if you're eating McDonald's every day, guess what? Your body's gonna have, it did that on purpose, it's gonna do it somewhere else later. Okay? You have to look at the whole system and you have to look at everything. And if you're going through some crazy stuff, and you guys have all been through some crazy stuff, you better be strong before it happens. Okay? The story is the Titanic. They saw the iceberg before they hit it. Couldn't change at that point. It's too late. It's better to be prepared before it happens than wait until you need it, because then now you're relying on luck. You know what the statistics are on surviving your first heart attack? 50-50.
Wow.
Get in shape first. Don't have the first one rather than flip the coin.
Were you gonna talk about positive thinking too? Could you kind of speak over that?
Oh yeah, with positive thinking, again, kind of some of the social media stuff. In general, you can trick your body. Like the whole, like, again, I'm old. Remember Stuart Smalley? I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, doggone it, people like me.
The second person today who's talked about that.
Perfect. So when it comes to that stuff, it works. If you stand in front of a mirror and say, like, I'm awesome, today's gonna be a good day, it's gonna be better than it was before you said it, even if you don't believe it, because your brain doesn't know the difference.
The trick is to say it out loud.
Yeah.
Correct.
Your brain-
It activates more parts of your nervous system to say it out loud and in front of a mirror. Right? I'm as goofy looking as anybody, and I do it once in a while. I feel dumb, but I still do it. Right? Again, they did some study. It was shooting free throws where they had some group practice like every day. And they had one group do nothing, and then they had one group just think about making free throws. Who do you think won not close? Just thinking about it. Crushed the practice people.
Wow.
Okay? Your brain is awesome. And it does not know the difference is if you fake it or not. So just like the oxytocin thing, if you watch a good deed, you get the same kick as if it happened to you. Your brain wants to be healthy for you.
So, right, we're kind of done. Right, we watch TV and stuff like that. Isn't that us just like, is that real? So like, our brain, like, does our brain interpret that? Like, we're actually experiencing those things? So if we watch, like, you know, like violent TV or TV that's like really negative, right?
Yes and no. Like, do you think that actually happened to you? No. But have you ever watched a movie and like burst into tears or been like shaking and disturbed and stuff? Nothing physically happened to you?
Right.
So on aspects of it, yes. And certain degrees of it, again, watch some crazy horror movie, like lets some stress out, it kind of runs the system a little bit. It's like taking a car and like, I'm just gonna hit 100 and back off. Like, let's just test it out, right? I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. Now, if you're watching the Saw movies every stinking night, you might be a little broken upstairs. I don't know. So there's a little bit of difference. When it comes to positive thinking and cortisol, one of the other things that works phenomenally well that nobody does anymore is journaling. So if you can journal, that actually gets the bad thoughts out, and then finish, every time you're journaling, finish with a positive thought in there. Because again, the act of writing it actually programs it better in your body, because you're using so many more nerves and different parts of your body than just thinking or saying it. But otherwise, I mean, yeah, think happy thoughts, you better. The biggest thing I would tell people is don't overthink it. Like I said, eat an apple, walk outside, say I'm awesome today. If you did just those three things, your life would be 50% better. Would that take me? 10 seconds?
When it comes to journaling, does it have to be writing or can it also?
I prefer writing.
I find writing actually helps it to have its effect better. Typing it is good, but in order to negate, or to compensate for having not written it with my hand, I'll actually read it out loud after I'm done writing it, and that like reinforces it. Writing it with your hand engages so much of your brain in the activity.
If
Not
you
just
can't do the
thoughts
writing
in
part
your
and you have to do it on the computer,
but
it's
your
not the end of the
hand
world.
and everything's more involved.
Yeah.
It also takes longer to write it, so you're.
But there's also, remember, if we kind of go back into some of like the blue light and I prefer the writing. But if it's like one or the other, then type the damn thing. Like if you for whatever reason can't write, like yeah, it's better not doing it. Yeah, if I can get you journaling, like you already won. Yeah, the rest is just details.
Two things real quickly. First one is, kind of spinning off from positive affirmations that we're talking about. There's this really cool, I think it's a TED Talk by, I wanna say Amy Cuddy, that's about like positive confident body language. Really cool, really powerful stuff. I encourage everybody to look that up.
Yeah. Now you're getting into a little bit more of my specialty, and we talk about it all the time. You can tell when somebody walks in the room what mood they're in. Right? I walk in and see a new patient and they're like this, or they're like, hey, awesome day. Nope. It's like you could just almost give off an aura, right? It's like, yeah, if you're head up, shoulders back, I don't know the study off the top of my head, but like head up, shoulders back, they did some kind of study, and like the difference in people's opinions on that is unbelievable. Because they would have the same person walk in two different postures, and one they're like, I trust that person, I would follow that person. The other one they're like, eek.
My dad's a communication professor, and what assignment he's been giving to all the students is just like practice like the Superman pose in the mirror for like a minute and a half before
Part of
you
the
go to
affirmation.
job. And a lot of his students report getting like significantly higher tips if they're in service leisure. So really very concrete stuff. My question then is, I'm trying to build a better / period good morning schedule or morning routine. What would that look like, and what are some tips for maintaining it for like that first critical 30 to 90 days before it becomes a good habit?
The best tip I would say as far as making it a habit is to have an accountability partner.
Okay.
By far. Have somebody else you're accountable to. I have tried multiple times to work out at home, and I don't know the other people in the gym. I kind of need them there. Like, I know they're not judging me. Who gives a shit, right? I'm just there working out. But I need the bodies around me. Like at home, I do one thing, I'm like, it's hot. Right? And so if you have an accountability partner, that would be the number one thing. Where just once a day, you just text each other, like, here's our goal. We're gonna work out for 30 minutes. I'm gonna not open my phone for the first 3 minutes a day. Just text each other every day, like, did you do it today? It's also important to know, if you didn't, that's okay. Like, nobody's perfect. Right?
Just get back on the
One
horse.
perfect person, I'm not him. Nobody else is either. Right? Like, so like it's okay, you're trying to have a better diet and you have something bad, like it's gonna happen. You gotta be able to get back on the horse. And that's where having that second person is nice. Cause I am the person that was like, oh, I've been doing really good and I had a Snickers bar. Well, I might as well have 14 then. Right? That's me. Right? I look at the bag of chips and it says servings 14. I'm like, 2 times.
No matter how big or small they are, it's 1 or 2 certain stops. I just can't buy ice cream anymore.
And sometimes that's the way you do it too, is just not have the temptation around.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I was just gonna ask you were talking about the whole cortisol syncing up thing earlier. Evolutionary wise, is that also like a safety type thing? Do you know? I'm just curious.
Probably.
Yeah, like.
I would be kind of guessing. My guess would be, if we're a village, we're together, and we have a threat on the horizon, and our leader's a little bit stressed, I actually want everyone's cortisol high.
Yeah.
Because guess what? We might get attacked at any moment.
Yeah.
The creepy one is the girls and the syncing up the cycles.
It's
So-
not creepy.
That's not what I mean. What I mean, the reason for it is, one of the things they think evolutionarily that it is that they would sync up so that the leader of the tribe would be able to impregnate everyone at the same time.
That is creepy.
Yeah, it is creepy. And they would be synced up to potentially all be pregnant at the same time, because if they went out hunting or attacking and got killed and didn't come back, that the species kept going.
Wow, that's interesting.
That's messed up. Again, when I get upstairs, I'm like, dude, that's weird.
How do we address high cortisol levels, though? Like, if you have somebody who has, we have a lot of people have anxiety in this world, and I know it's a little bit more extreme than.
This is very, very base level. Like I said, any one of these topics we could go off for an hour on. How do you eat an elephant? Like, what vitamin? Yeah, and it's, I wouldn't necessarily, when I'm trying to change something like that where it's a habit, what I tell people is add. So I almost always start with the, have some raw fiber before you eat, because all they're doing is adding something to what they're already doing. Drink more water, and just kind of add that, and just start there. And it's one of those where, again, I think it's a TED Talk, or one of those where some military guy is like, make your bed every day, right? Because you accomplish something first thing, like, just find something little that you can hopefully do right away in the morning that you can do. Because that sense of accomplishment starts to build. But what do people do? And I'm as guilty as anyone else. I'm gonna change my life. I'm not gonna eat sugar, I'm not gonna drink soda, I'm gonna work out 14 hours a day, and then they don't do one of them, and again, they're just like, well, what's the point then? I'll just quit it all. Sure. And that's where the accountability person would come in. So I would say an accountability person, number one, and find a couple just little things. And it doesn't have to, like I said, make your bed. Make your bed today. Awesome. Good job. You're a good person. I'm serious. Like, if you said that to one person, do you think your day would be better? You'd start with a smile. I think making bed is stupid, but other than that, I will never understand that one. Any other questions?
Just real quick, I know we're almost done. Wait, and you mentioned about the moving well, the weight training and lifting weights. You also brought up the importance of balance, and I've noticed that when I'm getting older, the balance is a huge thing.
Yep.
So just standing on one leg or just doing that, something, including that in, it sounds really important. The
Yes,
balance.
you
Any
want
other
to
things
do-
that you can think of right off the head about balance?
Your
Besides
body
standing on one
is
leg?
so unbelievably awesome. If you train it, it will get better. Doesn't matter what it is. Now, in some ways, in a negative way, that can be pain. You know, people that are in chronic pain, sometimes they'll hurt because their body's like, I'm good at this. It just does it because it's Tuesday, right? That's hard. When it comes to things like balance, one, always do it safe. Have something next to you and stand like this. You will notice within a couple of days, typically, you'll get a little bit better. Now, I'm biased. I would say, hey, get to a chiropractor, because if we can take some pressure off some places, it can help and do all that kind of stuff too. The other big one with balance that's sometimes a little bit easier than being static or just not moving is get like, start with like an aerobic step, or hopefully you'll have a step somewhere near the house, and just do that. Step up on it and step down. And then you can work your way up to the big gym ones that are way up here, and just one step up and one step down. If you could do that, kind of indestructible as you get older. Like just that. So again, walking is pretty good. But the true test, because I see it all the time, patients, you know, I had one the other day, like 85, like, I'm great. I'm like, here, stand against the wall, close your eyes, march in place to kind of reset posture. You almost fell over. Because your eyes can overrule the system a little bit. And that's how people fall, because they don't realize they have that. They close their eyes for a minute, and next thing they wake up in the hospital.
I can vouch for that. I broke both my legs in the military, and just starting to try to climb stairs, I had no balance anymore for a short while. So just stepping up and down on stairs is what I had to do to regain that balance.
Yeah. Do it where there's a railing. So I would say anything with a box going up and then down, one leg at a time. Like you don't have to be doing box jumps. You don't have to be, you don't have to go crazy. Pretty author I like that's really, really good on it, if you're interested, is Peter Attia, A-T-T-I-L-A. He's got like a whole system and a whole thing all about that. He's really big on the live for the last 10 years kind of thing. I really, really like his stuff. It can get a little technical. But if you go like on his website, there's a lot of videos, and he's got a lot of exercises and things like that.
Thank you guys.
Very
Good job.
Public speaking, it's fun, right?